All right, today we're going to talk about the area of a circle and area of sectors. So we are going to make sure that we have our handy dandy calculator before we get started with today's lesson. So the area of a circle is pi times radius squared, which is why we're going to want that calculator. And we're not going to follow these directions. We're going to just use pi for all. We're going to use our pi button for all of them. So on number 1, I am given the diameter, and if you notice the formula for area, I have to have the radius. In the last video, when we talked about finding the circumference, we could have either diameter or the radius. We can only have the radius today. So in order to do that, we have to take our diameter and cut it in half. So my radius is actually equal to 11. So I have 11 squared times pi, and I can type that straight in the calculator just like that. Hit enter, and I get about 380.13. And again, since I don't have any units in this one, if it was feet, it'd be feet squared because it's area. If it was inches, it'd be inches squared because it's area, so on and so forth. So because you're dealing with something squared here, that squared guy makes the area, so you need a squared for your units. Next one, number 2. I have my radius is 8.4. I need the radius, so we're good to go. So I have 8.4 squared times pi, which gives me 221.67. Next, I have the radius is 13, so I have 13 squared times pi, which is 530. Oops, I missed my 3 there. 0.93. And number 4, my diameter is 14.8, so I need to take that and divide it in half, which gives me 7.4. And then I'm going to go ahead and take that 7.4 squared times pi, which gives me 172.03. So area is not too bad. Next, we're going to talk about the area of a sector. Just a general terminology definition here. A sector is a region bounded by the arc of a circle and 2 radii. So if you notice, my sector here is sector X, Y, O. Or X, O, Y, either. It doesn't matter. Now, thinking about my arc length from the other video and how it was a piece of the circumference because I was only taking a part of the outside or a part of the distance of the circumference. When I deal with the area of a sector, I'm taking a piece of the area, because if I did the whole circle here, if I did all of circle O, I just want to find a piece of that. I want to find that area of that pie piece or a cake piece or whatever circular pizza slice. I want to find the area of that pizza slice. Whatever it is that you like to eat in a circular form that you cut. So instead of writing this whole crazy measure of the arc in degrees, I usually just write degree over 360. And by degree, I mean the degree that's given times my area formula. Oh, there we go. Jumped ahead of me there. All right, number 1, find the area of sector ZOM. Leave your answers in terms of pi. We're actually not going to leave it in terms of pi. We're going to go ahead and hit that pi button again. So if you notice, ZOM has a arc measure or essential angle measure of 72, which means that its arc measure is also 72. So I have 72 over 360 times my area formula. And my area is pi r squared. So my radius I see from 0 to m is 20, so 20 squared. Oops. Times pi. Screen's jumping a little bit. There. So in my calculator, this works for any calculator that has a parenthesis button. You're going to do 72, division symbol, 360, close your parenthesis. Second set of parentheses, 20 squared, pi button. So again, parentheses 72 divided by 360, close parentheses, open a new one, 20 squared pi. And we get that area is 251.33. And it's in centimeters. As you can see, it says cm right there. So that's centimeters squared. All right, problem number 2. Find the area of sector ACB. And it's, again, we're going to ignore the leaving it in terms of pi. We're going to give a decimal answer again. So I'm going to take the arc degree, and since my central angle is 100, the arc is also 100. So 100 divided by 360 times my radius, which I can see my radius is 6, times pi. And again, we're going to type that straight into our calculator just like we see it. Remember to put parentheses around both of the pieces. Oops, not P, I want pi. And that gives me an answer of 31.42. And again, I see the word centimeters, so I have centimeters squared. Uh-oh, word problem. I promise we can do it. Number 3, a circle has a diameter of 20 centimeters. What's the area of the sector bounded by a 208 major arc? Round your answer to the nearest tenth. So this one tells me not to use to leave in terms of pi, which is great because that's what we're going to do with this whole one. So I see that it's given me my diameter, but I don't want to use diameter. I want to use my radius. So I'm going to take that guy and I'm going to cut him in half. I'm actually going to use the value 10. That's where most people go wrong on this problem, is they just pick out the numbers and think, good to go. But if you didn't read that, you wouldn't have seen that you have the diameter. You would have just assumed your radius was 20. Not the case. Your diameter is 20, so we need to actually cut that in half. So my degree of 208 over 360 times my 10 squared pi. Which gives me 181.51. And it's in centimeters, so centimeters squared. All right, have a wonderful day.